proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President Year 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's efforts. It's the entire dealership, sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This is the Teammates Mentoring Hour. Coming at you on Apple Chevrolet on FM.com.
All right, welcome into Ticket Weeknights. This is the Teammates Mentoring Hour. I am Harrison Arns running the board here. And across the table from me, we have Charles and Nathan, and as well as the veteran here in studio a few times now, Jim Bennett as well. And again, we're going to be talking the Teammates Mentoring Hour. We're going to hear some stories, kind of what these guys' goals are, why we believe they're so important here in Lincoln, especially the community we're in. So again, Sartor Heyman text line 402-464-5685. You can ask questions, join the conversation, do everything all that way. So again, definitely don't feel afraid to jump in the conversation if you have questions. So Jim, I'll kind of start with you, and then we'll dive into Nathan and Charles for a bit. All right. So you've been the coordinator now for Teammates for how many years?
This is my 5th school year, so 5 years.
Okay, 5 years, perfect. And then as your role as a Teammates coordinator, what is that kind of all outlined for you? I mean, it sounds like a lot, but I'm sure there's some fine points that you got to lock in on.
Yeah, I mean, when you're we've got a large chapter here, so we're serving right now over 1,000 matches. So we have 1,000 students and 1,000 volunteers in our community coming in every week meeting with kids. So we've got a staff of about 7 or 8 folks in my office, and then every school has got a school facilitator. So there's almost we do all the public and parochial schools down here. So we've got dozens and dozens of people out there that all need that coordination to make this happen.
Absolutely.
And then of course we're also nonprofits, so there's some fundraising aspects to it, and some of that we have to coordinate as well. But yeah, it's just that, as the court, every district, every chapter, there's 191 chapters of Teammates. Started right here in Lincoln, Nebraska, with 22 football players back in 32 years ago.
Right.
Now we've served over 2,000 people here. So it's really different in Lincoln. Lincoln's really embraced Teammates. But yeah, there's 191 chapters. We're in 5 states now, but it all started right here with Lincoln, and it's kind of fitting because Lincoln, there's a lot of great things that start in Lincoln.
Absolutely.
And when Lincoln decides they want to do something, they do it well. And so I think that they could say that for the growth of Teammates over the last 31 years.
Absolutely. And yeah, like you said there, because Lincoln definitely a community thing. And I think it kind of shows how fast it's grown, especially here in Lincoln, that this is something that he definitely believes in. And that's why we have people in here like Nathan and Charles, because they've been a part of Teammates. And we'll kind of go ahead and dive in there first. So Nathan, when you were considering joining Teammates, I know there's, for some people it's really easy decision. Like, this looks awesome. I can't, wait to give my time to that. For other people, they think, am I even a good enough role model to do this? Is this something that I want to accept the challenge? So when you first started, in 2007, what were kind of the fears, if you had any, on getting involved with Teammates?
Well, I'd say that I didn't really have any fears per se, but I wasn't quite sure what the whole program entailed.
Right.
And so I had a relationship with Coach Osborne back in the day, and he was kind of the one that nudged me and asked me if I would be willing to get involved.
Oh, so you had Osborne himself kind of ask you if you want to be a part of it.
Yep. And so I just decided to kind of just take the plunge and just called the Teammates number and got set up and went through the process of doing it. And then right after that, that's when I met.
That's awesome. And what was that process like, kind of going through those checkpoints? Because obviously it's not they're not trying to keep people away, but there's obvious things. If you're going to have a mentor for a kid, you want it to be a good match. That's something that I know Jim Bennett really has a big role in as well, being coordinator, making sure people can match up properly. So what was that process like, going out, trying to figure out, what our hobbies are to might give you the best match possible?
Well, really get involved in that hard. Basically, they just, ask some questions, and then you had to do a background check, and then you went through it was like a 2-hour orientation that you had to go through.
Mhm.
And then, that was pretty much it. It wasn't really hard at all. It wasn't difficult. It was easy. And the people with the Teammates program really made it easy and answered any questions that I had. And from there, that was in 2007. And Charles and I basically were together once a week, every week through graduation.
That's awesome. So Charles, I'll swing it to you. So 2007, before the break, you said you were 24, so that would put you in elementary. So what a grade were you when you first got involved with Teammates?
I believe it was third grade.
Third grade.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then was this something that you actually sought out? Like, I see Teammates, and maybe you saw someone else with a mentor, and you thought this was really cool, or was it something your parents thought of? How did it come into your life?
Yeah, I don't really know how I got involved with this specifically, like what happened there, like the very first step.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when Nate and I first met, I was in school. They probably pulled me out of classes. I was like, "Hey, this is Nate, or whatever. He's gonna be your Teammates mentor." And I don't really remember. This is a long time ago for me. I was third grade, right?
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's been fun, so it all worked out in the end, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's I'll ask you this instead then. What's the earliest memory you have of meeting Nate, even if it's the first time, or maybe a year down the road, where you had a connection or a situation that happened where you really started to trust even Nate more?
That's a good one. I don't know.
Okay, I'll let you pause on that because
Yeah.
that's a long window, right? So then I'll switch it back to you. Nate, what do you think when you were first meeting Charles? I'd imagine that that first meeting, that's not fireworks right away. You got to get to know the person. So how'd that kind of go for you?
Well, you got to keep in mind too, Charles was in third grade
Yeah.
at the time, so he was a little bit younger and not quite as mature as he is now. But I would say basically what I tried to do was be consistent, show up every week, and we basically, at that time, I think it was around the lunch hour when I came, if I remember right. And I remember one of the things that we started out doing is we just went to the library and we played a little hangman on the computer. We did that for the first, I don't know, year or two. We just kind of played games. And
That's awesome.
got to know each other a little bit better. And I think maybe I earned Charles' trust a little bit just by being consistent and showing up, and, got to know him a little bit. And that's kind of how it started.
Absolutely. And again, if you guys do want to watch the live stream, we are on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. If you want to put a face to the voice, definitely feel free to do it that way. So you're talking about earlier, it just kind of started playing out with games, right? You're letting the relationships kind of grow naturally. And that's something that I hear a lot is, and maybe you can answer this one, Jim. It's when you're looking for mentors, you're not looking for someone to necessarily, help them with homework if they're struggling with grades. You're not there to make them an athlete. What is the role that you guys look for in mentors?
Right. This is a developmental model of mentoring, not a prescriptive model. So there's some mentoring programs out there which are great mentoring programs where they maybe work on schoolwork, or they have maybe even a packet of material that they kind of go over a period of time. This is about relationships. So we always say this, that if you play Uno or you can play Connect Four, you're perfectly equipped to be a teammate. And really what you're doing, and it does take a year. Nate talks about it. I have two mentees right now. And a good year to kind of get to know each other. It's fun that year, but it does, for that trust to build it, it takes a significant amount of time. But yeah, it's, we always say this, there's always a mentee for every mentor. We have somebody who would be a perfect match for any mentor. And we do match carefully. We take our time, right? And we make sure that there's a reason why we're matching these folks, not just, hey, someone's interested, we have a young person is interested in this adult. Let's see if it works, right?
Right.
We don't make those kinds of calls, right? We're very, very careful. And we do have a lot of kids waiting, so we have a pool to choose from, and we want to get all those kids matched over time. So yeah. I think it can be a little intimidating for folks, but if you can create a relationship and you don't have to be anything special. And you don't have to do math. I gotta let people know that. We hear that a lot. It's like, all right, do I have math? That's gonna be a problem. Maybe not for Charles, but for other folks, maybe.
Depends on the year, I think. I don't know. There was a little bit of reinforcement of habits in doing homework during the earlier years, maybe around like 4th through 6th, 7th, maybe later. Depends on the year, really. But yeah.
Well, that's what happens, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I talked to both my mentees about grades, right? Just how your grades. So they do, that's just part of a basic conversation, right? Don't harp on it. Don't keep track, right? I don't have to do any of those kinds of things. But and a lot of times it's just like, they're okay. You get some of that, but yeah, that's what it's about. And and sometimes it is playing games, and sometimes it's just sitting and talking. It changes. We played cards for a straight year, off and on. We played board games for another year, and now we just walk and talk, just kind of hang out.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like I hear that pattern a lot, right?
Yeah.
It ends up just being games, and then all of a sudden, it just turns into your hours, just you guys talking,
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it's graduation time, and you're still in touch with that mentor,
Right.
which is one of the cool stories I hear quite a bit. But you did say something that I want to highlight a little bit here. You said you do have a pool of mentees that are still looking for a match, and obviously, I feel like Teammates is growing, and I think at the same time, that's probably hard to keep up with that list as Teammates
Right.
continues to grow its boundaries. So, right now, about how many kids do you have that are still actively seeking a mentor?
Well, it just trickled over 600.
Just over 600.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so keep in mind that's a rolling number. You've trained over 200 this year, mentors this year. But that wait list kind of stays at that number. So it does sometimes take a couple, 3 years to get a young person matched. But we, and we don't love that, but we also know that our average match stays together for almost 3 years. And so that's a really high number compared to national stats. So what we're doing is we're matching carefully, and then those matches are being sustained for a long period of time. Nate and Charles are an example, the perfect example of a 9-year match that went from 3rd grade to graduation. And now here they are as, Charles, as an adult, and they're friends, and this is the kind of thing that is really that's exactly what we're hoping for. We're hoping people stay together to graduation.
Absolutely. So again, I want to bring that up because there's always a need for mentors, right? DP says it all the time. You can never have too many mentors. So again, if you're listening to this conversation, then I hope it means you're at least curious. So again, any questions, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685, because there's still kids out there that do want a mentor. And like Tim or like Jim was saying, you're not there to teach them school. As Charles said, you don't have to know math. You basically just got to be there and you got to listen. So I want to circle back around here. Charles, you had some time. I gave you to think about it. Do you have any early memories when you're really starting to get to know Nate more?
Yeah.
Conversations are becoming a little less about games and more just about knowing him. Or even just an awesome game. That was a great time.
I like Nate. We were playing the Hangman. It was like seasonal themed. That was really fun. We did that for a little while. Yeah. Depending on what season it was. But getting to know Nate. I mean, I don't know. He talk about like his work at like Gary Michaels and stuff. Like he works with Huskers there all the time, so it's kind of like goes back to that.
Right.
So, I remember at one point, my school administration, I think, gave me the idea. We're like, hey, we're gonna nominate Nate for an award. You gotta write a little bit about him. Like, what are you gonna say? And so I don't remember much about what I wrote. Again, I was in 4th or 5th grade at this time, so I was at Adams Elementary. But I do remember saying, like, P.S. Nate always wears really cool ties. So yeah,
perfect, absolutely. It's a good representative of your store. You got to have a nice tie to go with it, right?
Yeah, and I remember he always had really cool watches too.
Okay, awesome.
Does.
So you got to know a little bit about the fashion world.
Just a little. I don't know.
So this is one of my other favorite questions to ask, because you do these things a lot of times, not just the mentee, but the mentor. They figure out a lot about themselves they didn't anticipate. So through this journey with you, I mean, it's been, he's graduated through high school. You were there with him all this time. What are some of the lessons that, you weren't necessarily seeking out, but you learned them about yourself regardless?
Yeah, I watched Charles go from a kid that was a little bit timid to he's really come out of his shell. He's turned into a just a great young man, and I couldn't be more proud of him. I'm sure his parents are too. The guy bought a house last year. He's got a full-time job, and he's 24 years old. So that's been fun. I guess in the beginning, it was just there was times that I'd go in to see him, and I wasn't sure what the day was going to bring. And it was just sometimes it was just kind of overcoming obstacles as far as schoolwork and the things that Charles had going on. Whatever I was doing in my day, I mean, you basically just put that on hold, and you go in and you plan on spending an hour together, and it just kind of just brightened the day up a little bit. And I wasn't sure exactly what it was going to be every week for a while, but Charles did a great job, and I think he's grown, and I think he appreciates our relationship as much as I do.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And then real quick before we go to break here, Jim, if people are curious right now, where can they go to your website or even email? Where can they find you guys if they do have questions?
Right. Best places to go to LincolnTeammates.org, and you can really see a lot there. You can also sign up to be a mentor. There's a become a mentor tab at the top, and then almost every page has a big tab on the side, so you can go to. Also, you can see us on Facebook. You can follow on Facebook and on Instagram at Lincoln Teammates, so you can see us there as well. But yeah, you can, and then on the website also there's our contact information for our office. If there's any questions, we will answer them. But yeah, we love that. We love having conversations with people and kind of explaining what it looks like.
Absolutely. So like you said, and again, I'll put the notes in the podcast as well. If you guys are just now, I'll have it podcasted before tonight ends, and all that information will be there. If you do have any questions, or if you really do want to become a mentor and it's something you've been thinking serious with, I'll have that all for you in those podcast notes as well. This is 93.7. This is Teammates Mentoring Hour. We're going to go to break. We're going all the way up and clock those, so don't worry, we got plenty of show left. And again, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. You can bring your questions in that way, and we'll be back right after this break.
Don't go anywhere. More of the Teammates Mentoring Hour is minutes away on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States. Regular screening can reduce colon cancer deaths by 50%. At-home screening tests, such as the fecal immunochemical test, FIT, can help identify precancerous polyps and prevent colon cancer. FIT is easy to use with no prep needed, completed in your own home, and are often free to order from your local county health department. Take a health quiz to know if you are at risk of developing colon cancer. Doing so will help you protect your family and yourself.
And with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's effort. It's the entire dealership. Sales, our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Your local John Deere dealership is hosting their annual Planter Clinic at the Adams County Fairgrounds in Hastings, Nebraska, February 22nd and 23rd. Landmark's Planter Clinic offers expansive equipment training and important information on new and updated technology for this planting season. Get a refresher before heading to the field on in-cab monitors, maintenance points, and options to increase your operations profits. Join us February 22nd and 23rd in Hastings. Learn more at RSVP at landmarkimp.com/event.
Tractor Supply is looking for full-time team members for their Waverly Distribution Center. Tractor Supply has a new progressive pay model where team members receive 5 wage increases in the first 2 years of employment with the ability to earn up to $24 per hour. Applicants can expect a 3 and 4 day work week schedule with additional overtime days with both day and night shift schedules available. At Tractor Supply, they work hard, have fun, and make money. Apply today at tractorsupply.jobs.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Husker Nation, Amy Williams and Nebraska women's basketball needs you February 18th at 1 p.m. as the Huskers take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. We need your help to sell out Pinnacle Bank Arena for the first time ever. For event and ticket information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Vershawn Jackson for Brandt Excavating. Brandt's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brandt is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brandt Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrandtExcavating.com. They're also hiring. To join the team today, Brandt Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go Big Red.
Meeting your goal of having a healthy diet has never been easier than with convenient home healthy living subscriptions. Chef-inspired meals that are health conscious, delivered right to your door every week. All you have to do is heat and eat. We offer delicious entrees, gluten-free pastas, fresh rice bowls, soups, salads, and more. Build your own package as a subscription, meals every week, designed to help you meet your dietary goals. Order your custom healthy meal package today at venuehome.net.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull spots. Price Westo, and you'll find rates. We won't let you. Lemon says we back vehicles with a peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, pricerightauto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa,
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. This is the Teammates Mentoring Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketapp.com.
All right, welcome back into the Teammates Mentoring Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We kind of left, we're sharing some stories. We'll get back to that. But again, if you guys want to join the conversation, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. And we'll even open up the phone calls to segment Honda of Lincoln Hotline 402-464-5685. You guys can join the conversation that way. And again, if you want to put a face to the voice, we're streaming on YouTube, Twitch, Discord, and Twitter. Excuse me, not Discord, Facebook, and Twitter. So again, put a face to the voice that way. So we kind of left the break. We're understanding a little bit about the background of teammates and then what mentors all have to do. And Jim, I'll start with you again. So we kind of understood, the need for mentors. There's still some people have a fear of, they might not be good enough. They might, they're worried that their influence wouldn't necessarily work. They feel like they have to teach something. So when you're looking for mentors, what are the things that you tell them? I know you said you don't have to worry about doing math, but what are some of the other things that you try to push people over that, that ledge to really do it?
Right. So it's not, these are not young people who are in trouble. These are not at risk young people. These are just young students who could use another caring adult. And that's what we're looking for. And it's more about listening. It's, and letting the young person kind of explore. And there's times when you give advice, and there's times when you, but really just being able to listen and then just be present in the moment. It's like, what I mean by that is just being attentive and being consistent. So, and that's why I said consistent, but that's probably the number one thing is consistency. So the research is real clear, and the research says it's not what you do in that meeting, and it's also not how long you meet. It's that it's consistent week after week. And when I say consistent, I don't mean perfection. There's 35 weeks in a school year. Our goal is 24. So there's 11 times that we know that something's going to come up. Someone's going to be sick. Someone's going to have a school activity. Work's going to get in the way. They're just different priorities. Snow days, which, by the way, knock on wood, could be tomorrow. I don't know. Just saying.
You guys could be driving through it tonight. Let's just put it that way.
But it's so we're looking for that consistency. And if you can, you don't have to know anything. You just have to be able to listen. And that's what really people respond to. And that's what young people respond to. And so you can get in trouble. And maybe, I don't know, maybe you can speak to this, but you can get yourself in trouble if you try to do too much talking. You really want the young person to drive that conversation, because that's what it's about. It's a program that is done with and by young people. It's not done to and for young people. We're not imposing this program on somebody. Young people are thriving in it, and they're the ones driving the program. So I think, I was nervous. I've been doing youth work working with kids since 1993. And so 5 years ago, I got my first teammate. And the strange thing is I found myself kind of nervous. And I've been nervous working with a young person, but this one felt a little bit more personal to me. And so I can see why people have trepidation, and I understand it, but Trent said that we'll have you ready. We'll have you ready to go. It is more of, since when you did it, it's a 3-hour training, but it's a quick 3 hours. And we make sure that you are ready and you have support in the schools.
Absolutely. And, just by looking across the table here, we have Nate and Charles, and Nate, I believe how long you've been part of Teammates now?
I think this is year 15 for me.
Year 15.
Yeah, I was with Charles for, I think, 9 or 10 years. And
Okay.
then I have another mentee who is a sophomore, and this is our 4th year together. I've been with him since the 7th grade.
Okay, perfect. So this kind of leads me into my next question, because I hear it a lot too. A lot of when they decide to become a mentor, they're like, "Okay, I'm going to do it for this one kid, and then I'll be done." And then they stick around for another mentee, and then it turns into 3. And then we heard over the break, there's guys have been there for as long as 24 years. So, what was it for you that you really believed in Teammates, and you're like, you know what, I want to continue to keep being a part of this program?
Yeah, and going into it, I didn't have any idea. They asked for a 3-year commitment, and the 3 years went really quick with Charles, and we just kept going every year. I don't know if he still wanted me to come see him. We had such a great relationship that I look forward to it. We basically met every Wednesday, and it was just kind of part of our weekly plan. And once he graduated, he and I still get together and have lunch once in a while, and we still see each other and text and talk once in a while. But yeah, I just decided, well, hey, you know what, let's do it again.
Absolutely. I do like asking that because, Jim, how many times do you see that with their mentee and mentor where their times do, but they maintain that relationship, whether post high school, post college, I feel like I see that. And it's a positive thing to see. Do you see it a lot?
Yeah, really consistent. You spend that much time with somebody, you realize that, there's not a lot of people you spend that kind of time with, and over that period of time. Yeah. And so you really, it becomes something pretty special. I've got 2 juniors that I'm working with, and I can't wait to kind of see the next phase of that, and, go out for coffee or, go to a ball game or who knows whatever they want to do, whatever. And that's just it. The nice thing is, you do this, have this really structured time together, and then all of a sudden at some point it can change and you can be friends and have it look quite a bit different. I think it's fantastic what you guys are doing.
Absolutely. So, Charles, I'll bring it back to you. You know, when you were joining teammates, you're getting to know Nate, and as you know, time grew on, and that connection really started to form. You know, what were some of the things that you got out of it that you weren't necessarily looking for? And now today, you kind of sit here, learning things that maybe you weren't anticipating.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, you know, a couple years, you know, we most of the time we met at over lunch, so I didn't miss too much class, right? So,
Mhm.
you know, uh, it was a nice change of pace at the very least, and then kept me motivated in school a little bit because you know I wasn't the best kid in school a couple years, but you know, seeing Nate every week really helped out, and for a couple of years, I suppose I got me out of class a little bit, but you know. But I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it was like Nate was like, "Oh, you know, I don't know if you want to be there." And well, no, it wasn't that. It was I don't know if you wanted to continue year after year, but it was like it was never a doubt in my mind. It's like, yeah, we're doing this next year, right?
That's awesome. Yeah, and I feel like there's relationships. Maybe it takes a little bit of time, but over time they become very real. And like Jim's saying, you see that correlation post, you know, graduation where that mentee and mentor they stay friends and in communication. So you also see a trend of mentees becoming mentors. Is this something, you know, obviously you're 24, you got
Right.
time to think about it, but is this something you've ever even, you know, considered now that you've been through the program yourself?
I mean, I've thought about it a little bit, but it's like I'm still. I feel like I don't know. Nate's a very busy person. He made it work, so maybe I'm just making excuses. But it's like I don't know. I feel like I'm really busy right now. Like, kind of been doing. I've got out of college 2 years ago. I've been kind of doing my own thing since then. But it's like maybe in a couple years I'll reassess again. But I think right now I'll keep it in mind. But it's not the move right now. I don't think.
Yeah, fair enough. And I feel like Jim, you'd say the same thing. Like if you're not ready for it, you don't feel like you have
Yeah,
the time. You probably wouldn't want, you know, someone
Right.
who's not into it to do it yet.
Yeah, it's no different than sales. It takes 7 asks, you know, to before someone will make that commitment.
Mhm.
You know, Nate, you guys didn't get to see it beforehand. We were in the other room there. Nate was pushing Charles about becoming a teammate. So I don't think that push is done yet for Nate. But so Charles, I'm sure we'll hear about it again at some point. But that's the other thing too, which is the very best recruiters are people who are currently. It's word of mouth. It's people who are currently mentoring, and that's what our data shows it clearly that that's where we get the most mentors is by people who are doing it, finding somebody close to them, or you talking to Coach Osborne, or you know, I mean that's how the personal ask is really the most important thing. So Charles is a young professional, not right now. It doesn't work for him. That's fine. You know,
absolutely.
We're gonna need mentors for the next 20, 30, 40 years. So you know, may not work right now, but at some point it might.
And then follow-up question, you know, with the mentors you see, what's kind of that, you know, average age group that you're seeing a lot of mentors? And is there any, you know, age groups or even guys or girls that you might need more of?
That's a great question. Yeah, since the pandemic, under 35, we've just spent lots of young people who are mentoring. It's like almost like the next generation of mentors. We used to have a lot of, because it's a school-based mentoring program during the day, we used to have a lot of retired folks be mentors. And then the pandemic just kind of pushed that away a little bit. They're coming back. I mean, we're still getting those, but we're seeing lots of young mentors, but we do need, we're about a little less than 60-40. 60% are women who are mentoring and 40% are men. Yet our wait list is full of young men who need mentors, and that we need men. We need men who are willing to do this work and take this time. And then obviously we really need mentors of color. We have, you know, our mentors are about 12% people of color, and our mentees that we're trying to match closer to 45%. So we're really looking for mentors of color who are interested in working with young people.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you know, you brought that up, because it is, you know, why is that, you know, so important for those matches that, you know, if you have, you know, a young man that it might make sense that you want to pair him with another, you know, adult male just to kind of is there a logic as to why that pairing works better?
Well, the research says that when a mentee sees somebody across from them that looks like them, it matters to them. It matters that there's somebody they can see themselves in that person. So the closer you can get to that, the better off you're going to be for the outcomes become better, frankly. So that doesn't mean it has to be that way, because
Right.
it absolutely does not. There's any match can be super successful. It is, but the research kind of says that. So we really says that you want the mentee to be able to see themselves in their mentor. So when they look across, they see somebody like them. It really matters to them.
Absolutely. So then, I'll switch it back to you, Nate. Is he saying the best way to get mentors, is word of mouth? And obviously you had Osborne, kind of chirping your ear. That's what you got down, which is, an awesome statement, by the way. If there's a guy to get you into teammates, Tom Osborne's a good one. So what is kind of the pitch that, maybe you talk to some of your friends, being a mentor and, why it was great for you and maybe why they should consider?
Yeah, I'd say that it is a commitment, but it is only an hour a week.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's not like it's a couple days a week or, it takes up your whole morning. I mean, and basically we just got into a group where we planned on pretty much every year. I tried to come at the same time and we both kind of expected it. And, I set my work schedule around that. So it just made it easy and you just kind of get it in your routine and the years fly by.
Absolutely. And, you could probably speak on this too, as well as you, Jim. One of the other things I hear coming from you guys, kind of the research you do, is people that do have those, meetings even between work, that once they get back from that, they're even more productive at their job. There's no decline. They, in fact, perform better.
Right. Businesses have seen the value in it, and they're paying people to go. There's a lot of businesses around town that pay people to go mentor, because they know that, first of all, people from their work are engaging in the community, which is never bad. And they get excited for it. First of all, they feel valued by an employer, but then when they come back, productivity increases. And it's just that, making that connection. This is a very intimate way to make a really significant difference in our community. And there's a ripple effect. And the ripple effect goes both ways. My daughter is being affected by my relationships with my mentees in a really positive way. I'm becoming a better father to her, because I learn about other people and about what other people need and how to really communicate with other people. And I think I'm probably going to do the same with my mentees. They're going to go off and possibly have families, and so that effect, and they're currently in families. So that effect is a ripple, and it really ripples out. It's a really intimate way to make a really significant difference in our community. And so that's why employers know that as well.
That's awesome. And then, so Nate, did you feel that, say when you're going to meet Charles, and then after that visit, did you almost have an uptick in your drive at work?
I did. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that statement. It, I don't know what it is, but it was just always positive, and I always felt good when I left.
Absolutely. So then I kind of want to swing it to you, Charles. Obviously you're at a younger age and maybe you didn't realize it, but as you got older, maybe to high school, did you notice those days when you knew, Nate was going to come and visit you, that those days overall just went better?
Yeah, I think so. Like, you're in school. Not every day is the most fun, the most engaging, the best day. But I think, like, obviously, it was usually Wednesdays basically all the time. Nate would come and it was like, we'd have lunch together. The rest of the day, it was like, it goes right by, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So were there, real quick before we go to break here, were there any hobbies that either of you guys picked up from each other that beforehand you had nothing to do with it, and then now you're sitting here today and you've picked up a hobby that you never thought you were even into before?
I don't think so.
I'd say Charles has probably taught me more about a computer than I knew. He's definitely into that. So yeah.
That's
sure.
awesome.
Yeah.
I hear that one a lot too. I know one guy, he was his mentee was really big into gaming, and then all of a sudden he was logging on, at 6 p.m. with the mom's permission, and they would play video games together online. And you hear people just mixing hobbies, and then it turns out they find even more in common. But again, we're going to go to break here. But if you want to join the conversation, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. This is the Teammates Mentoring Hour on 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. We'll be back right after this break.
Don't go anywhere. More of the Teammates Mentoring Hour is minutes away on 93 and the ticketfm.com.
Husker Nation. Basketball needs you. February 18th at 1 1 p.m. as the Hawkeye. It's your help to sell out Pinnacle Bank Arena for the first time ever. For event and ticket information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Mike Shaver here to tell you that Trek CBD has a new name, and it's Hemp Boss. It's the same products you've grown to love, just a new name. Spring sports are on the horizon, and Hemp Boss has a variety of products that help calm me down during games and on the golf course so I don't go over the top. And they have a variety of options for you to calm you down before, during, and after any event. Whether you're looking for drinkable Delta 8 seltzers, hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups for your beverages, or anything else, Hemp Boss has it all at 84th and Internet. Hemp Boss, naturally healthy CBD.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is hosting their annual planter clinic at the Adams County Fairgrounds in Hastings, Nebraska, February 22nd and 23rd. Landmark's Planter Clinic offers expansive equipment training and important information on new and updated technology for this planting season. Get a refresher before heading to the field on in-cab monitors, maintenance points, and options to increase your operations profits. It's February 22nd and 23rd in Hastings. Learn more at RSVP/events.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Tractor Supply is looking for full-time team members for their Waverly Distribution Center. Tractor Supply has a new progressive pay model where team members receive 5 wagings of employment with the ability to earn up to $4 per hour. Applicants can expect a 3- and 4-day work week schedule with additional overtime days with both day and night shift schedules available. At Tractor Supply, they work hard, have fun, and make money. Apply today at tractorsupply.jobs.
Can you believe empty car in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in Westo and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our Peace of Mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Max 10 for men. Bye-bye golfer lines and t-shirt cans. The Max at Max 10. Get a 30-day pass, just $25. With stand-ups and laydowns for men of stature. Be a Max 10 man. Get 30 days for just $25 now for Lincoln Max 10 locations.
Life-changing research doesn't just take place in outer space. It's also happening right here in Nebraska, and you could play a key role. Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, needs healthy adults who are 19 years old and older for a research opportunity. If you qualify, you can earn up to $500 a day for time and travel. Overnight stays may be required. To learn more, call Solarion at 866-213-2965 or visit helpresearch.com/100.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, travel and support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
4th and 1 is what? 4th and 1 is just a sense of urgency and a sense of preparation, which means 4th and 1 is really important. Have you prepared to be in 4th and 1? So that was a heavy Ed Ogeron. That was a heavy Urban Meyer. Like that. It was 4th and 1 every day. Oh boy. So February 19th, it wasn't like, yeah, we're cool. We're all good.
Right.
No.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning. The Ticket is the Teammates Mentoring Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into the Teammates Mentoring Hour. This is the last segment. So again, final questions and thoughts. Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. You can join the conversation that way. It's been a full show. We've gotten to hear stories from Charles and Nate, as well as Jim Bennett on what his role with teammates and kind of what they're looking for as Teammates continues to grow right here in Lincoln. And again, it's a great community thing, so definitely reach out if you're curious at all, and at least get some questions answered on where you stand. But nonetheless, before we go here, kind of how I would like to end things, since we only got about 5 minutes, I kind of want to go around, and if we have any listeners out there that are right on the fence and they're really thinking about it right now, do you guys have elevator pitches for that last bit of advice on if you're really thinking about it, this is why you should join? And Jim, we'll start with you.
Well, I mean, the two things actually that we hear consistently from mentors is it's the best hour of my week, and I'm getting more out of it than they are. I think people underestimate the internalized benefit for mentors in this thing. And I know Nate talked a little bit about it, but I'll just speak on behalf of myself. Like I said, I'm a better parent. I'm a better coworker. I feel like I'm a better communicator than I was before I started this process. So I went into it with the idea of helping other people, and doing something good for the community. And what I got out of it was a little bit, even slightly a little shocking. And it's super simple. And like I said, we're not looking for perfection. It's a school-based mentoring program, so it follows all the same holidays that you would want to take off with your family and the time off that you would normally get. So you want to make sure that that it's such a simple thing. The slogan for Teammates is "Be there." Just show up, be there, be consistent. And it's a simple thing, but it's so impactful, and it's such a good thing for our community.
Absolutely. And then what about you, Nate?
Pretty much agree with what Jim says. It's definitely rewarding. It's only an hour a week. And Charles, he's a good friend of mine now. It's been fun to watch him grow up, and I would have never met him without the program.
And then what about you, Charles? Obviously, you might not be able to answer on the mentor's role, but even mentees, people that, are interested, because I believe for mentees, it's some of those mentees reach out themselves and others' parents, for them. So, Charles, if you had to convince other people that, this is why having a mentor was such a good and positive experience for me, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, it's just Nate's made such a huge difference. Like when I was going through school, right? Like I said earlier, touched briefly on it. A couple of years I was like off track a little bit. Spent some time in the office in a couple of years, and Nate was there every week, keeping me on track. Like, how's class go and how's work go? Not work, but this
absolutely.
Homework and stuff is like, I'm working on any of your missing assignments. It's like, no, all right. It's just like I said earlier, it's just the consistency of knowing that someone's there and like listening, checking up on you. That it's really helpful.
Absolutely. And over the break, Nate was telling a story where there was a work thing that came up, and then a week goes by and he couldn't make that 1 week, which Jim says that's understandable. Things are going to come up. You're not asking for them every week, but Charles noticed too, right? And it was the first thing he said, and that kind of tells you that those relationships, even if you think it's in the early stages, it means a lot to that individual, having someone to be there consistently. And then obviously worked out. You can tell by Nate being here today, and you guys have been, teammates, together for 9 years at least. So it's really important. And again, if you guys are really thinking about it, before we go here, Jim, where can they reach you? And I'll also put this in podcast notes for you guys.
Yeah. The best place to do is go to lincolnteammates.org. And you can sign up to become a mentor. But if not, just look around. There's some video there. There's some stories there that you can look at and find out about us. And obviously, we're on Facebook and Instagram at Lincoln Teammates as well. But that's a good place to get information. And then you can always contact our office, and you get that at the website.
Absolutely. You heard it there. And again, I'll put that all in the notes for you guys. You can watch the live stream back on YouTube as well. Appreciate you guys listening. This was the Teammates Mentoring Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Up next will be a replay, and then we have Arkansas and Texas A&M tip-off at 7:45. So you want to listen for that one. That'll be a good game as well. Thank you to Charles, Nate, and Jim for joining us. And for our listeners, have a great rest of your Wednesday night.